Look, guys, the car's fantastic. Really, really happy with it. But Gasly's just a little bit too quick just now. So could you maybe give my car just something a little bit extra, so I can go a bit quicker than him? Nothing, Pierre. No, just keep mopping the floors, mate. They're looking great. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Aussie Villain Racing. It's round 4 of Season 3. Time flies, doesn't it? And today it is another first race for us. It is the Portuguese Grand Prix, the third track this season we haven't been at. And, well, I'm excited to see how this race plays out. Now, of course, last race in Imola, we had a very good result. Gasly on the podium, myself down there in 7th. And we've got 2 weeks, it looks like, here before the next race. So let's see what we want to do. Simulator training for Gasly. Go on, mate. We'll help you out. Sports demonstration event. That gives us a little bit of extra prestige. A sponsor event. A funded team away event. And a chassis building team event. So, well, this looks like a little bit of a no-brainer, doesn't it? Because everybody's happy then. And that gives us 3 days. Do we do an aero department focus for 30 resource points? Or do we get some acclaim? It's probably better to get it for the team, would it be? Give ourselves a day off as well, so that's what we'll do on that front. Facilities, we've got 13 million in the bank just now. I want to make sure we have the 9 million for Gasly for his new contract. And as I said, once we get to that 9 million, once we get to that, then anything above that we can spend. So we have 4 million effectively to spend, and this all looks like it's going to cost way more than that. So the one thing I did want to check though is personnel. 6 million for a simulator upgrade, a fitness center for 4 million. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I'm a little bit scared to have Gasly go any quicker than he already is. But yeah, so let's just hold off for now. Let's just hold off for now, and we'll wait. And we will get this eventually. I'm just not convinced that now is the time to just spend 4 million for the sake of it. Now R&D. Now we do have a few things that should be coming for this weekend. A minor and a major upgrade, but we do have 3,500 points we can spend here. So let's have a look and see what we want to spend it on. Now, as we've seen before, we've done as much as we can in terms of aerodynamics. If we have a look at the chassis, we can do brake calipers. That is going to be a minor upgrade. So it will help us under brakes. Maybe not the most important thing for Portimao. I'm trying to think what race we have after Portimao. Are we going to Barcelona this year? I can't remember. We have a fuel flow regulator. That is a major upgrade on the powertrain. So maybe we do want to do that. That'll be with us. So the next race is Monaco. Excellent. Monaco. Why did you have to spin up? And that brings us to durability. Now we have what is called an ultimate upgrade, which is tempting. Now, we do have a little bit of space to do this. So let's do an ultimate upgrade, and we have 600 points left. We might, if we have the space to do something. Do we have something down here? It's a little bit. There we go. So we can do MG UK. That is a major upgrade, and this is all going to help us look at climb the durability chart there. That's going to be us done then in terms of development stuff. The progress history, you can still look at that at Imola. We were effectively as good as Red Bull. We're flying up the performance charts. Now, nobody else has really moved, which concerns me a little bit. It makes me think that at some point everybody's going to take a massive step forward on us, but, we can only do what we can do. Gearbox, everything is looking fairly good. The corporate side of things, everything is the same. We need to get to 25. We're at 20 right now to get the acclaim level to get the next sponsorship unlocked, and that would be good for just extra money. We can see Pierre Gasly 97 rated. His focus has improved a little bit, and we've done that thing for him, which should help that even more. Driver market is irrelevant. Running costs, we can see that there. And the financial history, well, we continue to climb that mountain, don't we? Which is excellent. And a look at the driver standings. Pierre Gasly 7th, only 4 points behind me now. I've never had a teammate with Schwartzman or Markelov that got anywhere near us, really. So it's good in a way, but I want to make sure I'm still winning. So at some point this could get nasty. But we're sitting third in the constructors as well, which is excellent. Season results, you can see there a 2nd, 9th, and 7th for me. Gasly with a 12th, which I may have been responsible for partly, mostly. A 6th and a 3rd as well, so that's good to see. Trophies, now of course we've never been to Portimao before, so we have nothing to judge it off of. The rivalry with Perez, we are 1 point back, and I'm not completely convinced that Portimao is going to suit, well, maybe not so much me, the car, but me. Yeah, well, I think I've only driven it once on Project Cars or something, so we'll see how we go. And let's sim ahead here now and see if everything goes through as expected. Gearbox reliability testing
completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
So we do have a department event to go and have a look at here. F1 Paddock is planning a new series where they go behind the scenes of various F1 teams and ask. So they're planning to do. Oh, do we want resource points? They're doing Drive to Survive basically. I mean, 750 resource points would be nice, but the team acclaim. I just said we need to get it to get.
It's an easy decision.
To get that next sponsor. Thanks. So let's do that, and hopefully we're not going to regret not having those resource points. So the team event's gone off without a hitch, it looks like. And we are about to head off to Portugal. Alright, so there we go. We can see the track map there. If you're on, I think they've only ever raced there. Was it once or twice they've raced there now in real life? The weather forecast is dry, effectively. It's an increasing chance in qualifying, a decreasing chance in the race. But, you know, a below 20% chance of rain means there's an above 80% chance that it won't rain. So that is that's looking like it could be a dry one, which is nice. Alright. I'm going to do some free practice, try and learn this track, get a setup that works, and I'll see you for qualifying. Alright, free practice is done. I enjoy this track, I've got to say, but I'm not necessarily sure our car suits it. Gasly and myself, we were sort of lower top 10 in FP1, FP2. Gasly was there again in FP3. I did a qualifying sim and topped the session, so in a way that's good. It means that at least we've got a little bit of qualifying pace, but I'm not convinced we're actually the fastest. I think we're probably 8th, 9th, 10th, myself and Gasly. So let's see exactly where we shake out. Q1 should be okay, but as we've seen before, I'm not against stuffing up qualifying. Alright, so here we come. First run, hopefully only run of Q1. I don't know how much talking there'll be during this lap, because it's a very flowing track. It seems like you're always in a corner. So here we go. Doesn't really ping you for track limits there, so I suppose it's okay. Didn't really get close enough to the apex there. Oh, limited grip there. That's left a little bit on the table, but hopefully not too bad. Just after the 100-meter board. Turn her in. Don't spin the wheels. A little bit of wheel spin, but that's okay, I suppose. A little bit of a lift just to get us around there. We can brake really, really late. Oh, I did get a track limits warning there. Oh dear. So we'll see what we do and we'll go again. I would imagine that's not going to be good enough. P2 right now. P3, second off the pace, so probably not. Car in front of us, Leclerc. If you'd like to just finally get out of the way, mate, that'd be appreciated. We are up a little bit on the first lap, which tells a story, doesn't it? Now, this is where it all started to go wrong, wasn't it? Leclerc's going to be in my way here, isn't he? And he's not going to get out of it. This is where it all went wrong, last lap, of course. That's a little bit better. And we've almost got the second made up just there. Not really sure where Leclerc's going here.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
That's okay. If he wants to stay there, we'll get a draft off of him down the straight, so that's absolutely fine. Gas as early as we can, snaking around a little bit. Sit in behind Leclerc here. Oh, I'm running a little bit wide. And that should do it. So, not my best lap by any stretch of the imagination. Gasly up there in third. Go on, Pierre. But still managed to get into the top 10, so that's promising. And the drivers dropping out there. Mazepin, Guan Yu, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, Latifi, and Giovinazzi. Let's go to Q2. Alright, here we go. Hopefully this will again just be a one-lap thing. We've got Gasly in front of us, so we'll see if we catch him or not. Or maybe that's not Gasly, it looks like an Alpine. So on the edgy grip that corner, I feel like I'm going to do a Sergio Perez in real life where he looped it. Ideally, of course, we want to do this first lap. These will be our race tyres if we get into the top 10. I've gone wide there. And I would suspect this lap isn't going to be good enough, but we'll see. It is a good track, isn't it? It flows, it undulates. It'll probably be a fun race, actually. I don't know how good we're going to go at it, but it should be a fun race. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Is that going to be good enough? A 16.3, a 17.3, sorry. It's what we did in the first session. Not convinced. Alright, we're going for a second run on the second set of tyres. You can see on the little display up there, everybody else is on mediums and we're still only 7. I stuffed up the first lap, so we're getting to desperation point now, because obviously if we get into the top 10, these will be the tyres we start on. And we start to reach the realms of we're better off not being in the top 10 and getting fresh tyres. Can't quite get the car set up to take that corner well, but we're better first sector. Didn't get as good an exit out of there. Oh, I've hit the curb. We're not getting out of this session, are we? So it's the best worst case scenario. We've qualified P11th. By the time we got back, fixed the damage, there was obviously no time to go again. Ricciardo's got through on the medium, so that's good for him. But there we go, P11. We will start the race. Let's see how we go.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Perez, Lando Norris, and Gasly, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Oldtimer, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Stroll, Russell, Lundgaard, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi, Schwartzman, Joe, Mick Schumacher, and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, it's going to be a tough race this one, so the hoodie is off and it is all business. Now, I'm thinking if everybody else wanted to start the race on mediums, do we start the race on mediums and then go to soft as soon as we can? If we go to edit strategy, if we were to start on mediums, go stint 2, put on the softs, and maybe come in a little bit sooner, is that pushing it? So if we're not quite splitting the race 50-50. I say, what if we come in lap 9? We can kind of see how it's going at that point. And yeah, I'm just wondering if everybody else wants to start. You know what I mean? If they were all wanting to start, that seemed to be the strategy that people wanted, doesn't it? So if we do that, we'll take a little bit of petrol out here. And, well, Gasly's in position to score points. Let's hope we can as well. Alright, here we go, Portimao. Let's hope, as I said there, we can get ourselves some points. Another long hold on the start. We eventually get underway, and let's see what we can do with our new medium tyres. We've got a decent start to those around us. On the outside of Leclerc, I think we definitely want to be on the outside of this corner. Can we lunge around a few?
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
So that wasn't completely unexpected, but we did manage to, I think, avoid damage and sort of crash around the outside of Sainz as well. And we find ourselves in P7 on a medium tyre. It's not a bad place to be in, ahead of Ricciardo as well, so we are the first placed cars on the mediums. So, yeah, if we can sort of keep up. Well, we've been done, have we, by Sainz on his softer tyres, just got a better run. And he has, I love the outboard shots on this track, they're absolutely insane. But yeah, Sainz just got a better run, more grip, and mugged us off there, so he goes up to 7. Oh, I love this track so much, the camera angles. But anyway, if we can try and go with Sainz, with Gasly in front of us, who's 6th, of course, which is decent for the team. When we get those soft tyres on, then that's when we can... don't worry too much about that line. I'm just trying to get the gas down as quickly and as early as possible there. Yeah, I mean, we could really do some damage, though obviously the one engine will hinder us a little bit. But it is just this one straight. Now, yes, it's a very long straight, and you've got pretty much a flat-out corner before that as well, as we're sort of twitching around all over the shop. But I think the soft tyres will more than compensate for that. Oh, four-wheel drift. Now that gives Ricciardo a massive run on us. And can we get him back up the inside? We lunge, we have the corner. Can we sort of force him out wide? Yes, we can, but what about that drift? Very, very close to sticking that in the inside wall. Where we've got Ricciardo again all over us. He looks to do a Sainz the next lap on us. But it's very, very slippery. That corner in particular, very, very difficult to get the power down. And we'll cover the inside as Ricciardo again lunges around the outside, but we've got that covered. And while all this is going on, of course, Sainz, Gasly and co.
We're accumulating some wear on the MGUK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
So more issues potentially there with the engine. What we don't want is, yeah, the deployment mode going down. That's less battery power. But again, it wasn't unexpected. We're trying to get through this race.
Will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Now we have lost DRS on Carlos Sainz, but Ricciardo behind us still has it, of course. Yeah, Monaco is the next race, I believe. So the plan here is just kind of take these engines as far as we can. Depending where we qualify in Monaco, I might even look, as Ricciardo's taking another run on us with the DRS, but he's not close enough to make a lunge. Yeah, depending where we qualify, we might take engine penalties in Monaco. We'll kind of see. We'll see where we qualify. If we qualify in a point-scoring position, which is unlikely, let's be honest, but you never know, then we'll hold off. We'll try and get the points and then take fresh engines. We won't take penalties. But if we get to a situation where we're qualified, where I expect to down the back, then what we'll do then is we'll just take the engine penalties, and we'll all be happy when Monaco's finished and we leave with a nice fresh engine in the back of the car. But it is not we are not losing too much ground, are we, on those in front? What's the gap now? 2 seconds, 2.2 is that say? I can't see the tower too well there, but anyway, we're outside DRS, but I think that is salvageable on a on a soft tyre. And that's what we need to do. We just need to stay somewhere where we can run cars down on the soft tyre, and I do think it's going to be a big advantage because, I mean, there's a lot of twisty corners in this midsection here, sort of from this point on almost, where the extra grip is really, really going to help us out. Again, we struggle a little bit through that corner. You can see we're on the battery.
Gap to car in front is 2.4 seconds.
2.4 seconds to Sainz. Yeah, on the battery, just trying to make sure we keep Ricciardo at arm's length. I do think, ultimately, even when we get onto the soft tyre, if you manage to hold him behind us here, oh, very, very wide, that's definitely worth a warning. I do think, ultimately, that Ricciardo is going to get past us. I mean, he's in what is arguably the fastest car on the grid. What I'm trying to do by defending as hard as I am is not necessarily protecting my position, but trying to protect Gasly's position for him as well. And if we can stay ahead of Ricciardo, then obviously that's fantastic. We'll take that and run. But like I say, I'm not necessarily expecting to be able to keep him behind me for 17 laps. But every lap that we keep him behind just is an extra lap that Gasly doesn't have to. Think of it as like Alonso v Hamilton at Hungary this year. That's kind of what we're trying to do, but for 6th instead of the win.
Gap to teammate ahead is 3.1 seconds.
So Gasly has a 3-second gap on Ricciardo, and yeah, like I say, if we can hold that for him or even let him extend that. It looks as though he's holding up Sainz a little bit there in front though, doesn't it? Then that's all well and good. The thing we might want to try and do, if we can manage to, if we've got another defensive move we need on Ricciardo here, and again we've got the inside line, no way past there. We've got a little bit of a train developing behind us, don't we? But again, they're all on soft tyres. It's just Ricciardo and I that I am aware of, certainly in the first bunch of cars here that are on the medium. So everybody else behind us should take care of themselves once we get onto the faster tyre. It's Ricciardo that we need to, he's the worry now, isn't he? And the fact that we're not, I mean, we're not going so slow that Ricciardo has the other cars crawling all over the back of him. So the fact we're able to do this pace on the medium tyre, I think bodes well. You would certainly imagine, I mean, Leclerc's in the same car as Sainz in front of us. You give us a soft tyre, we're doing roughly the same lap times, a little bit slower than Sainz. The issues, I suppose, is going to be how many laps do we get on the soft, and are we going to be able to close the gap down? But again, time will tell on that. And then, I mean, the wear didn't seem too bad in free practice, but they might start coming back to us a little bit as well as their soft tyres start to go off. That could help us out a little bit. It looks as though we're dropping Sonoda, is it, in the AlphaTauri behind us. It's just a 4-car train now, it looks like. So again, that might be a good sign that, unless he might have been battling with Ocon actually, but it might be a good sign that maybe soft tyres are starting to go off a little bit. And am I dreaming, or are we just that little bit further ahead of Ricciardo this lap as well? A little bit of a slide on the exit there. I do think there's maybe, I mean, it's our first time here, so I wouldn't expect the setup to be completely optimized, but I do think there's a little bit we could do out of some of these corners just to give us a little bit more grip where it comes off camber. This is another corner where we just don't quite have the grip on the exit of the corner. So whether that's, I don't know, a softening of suspensions, or maybe, I don't know if you'd want to soften or stiffen the roll bars. Would you want more or less roll to get? You probably want less roll, wouldn't you? So, yeah, I mean, that's something that that we can work on.
Pit window, you'll be on the soft.
So we're almost at our pit window. Yeah, that's something we can sort of work on if we come back to Portimao in future seasons. We can kind of work on that and just trying to get a little bit more grip. If we stay on board here through this next corner, you'll kind of see again what I mean. It's just struggles to get the gas down and keep the grip at the back. So, I mean, we're doing okay considering the McLaren is, now I can't remember at the start of the episode where they were in the development chart, but they were certainly in the top 3, weren't they? So the fact that we're able to keep Ricciardo behind us, I think, is relatively good. And again, Sainz is not getting any further away, is he? That gap has been about 3 seconds now for the last few laps. So there is positive signs that when we go onto this soft, we might be able to move up a little bit. I mean, if we look at ahead of Sainz, Gasly is within a second of him, so that would be potentially doable, but then there's a little bit of a gap from Gasly to Norris and sort of the front of the field. So P6 is probably the maximum we can look for at this point, unless something happens further up. Perez, unfortunately, our on-track rival, looks as though he's gonna extend that to an almost, given that Monaco's next, an almost insurmountable lead. But I think, are we coming in this lap? We're certainly coming in soon. Is it lap 8 or lap 9? I can't remember now. Oh, a little bit wide. That's not what we need. And again, we've got a little bit of drift going on, and this is trouble. Ricciardo looks to the inside as we go across the block. He goes down the outside again. We hold that inside line. As long as we've got that, there's not really a way past for him. So that is, again, that's all positive stuff. Even when we make a mistake out of that corner, he doesn't have, whether it's the speed or the time, to be able to get past us. So here we go. Oh! Ricciardo was right up the back of us.
Ricciardo just hit me, Jeff.
Another look from his point of view. Did I move late? I mean, it was always my intention. That was my line. I think he's tried to go back to the inside, has he?
Taken a few scrapes. Try not to make it any worse.
Oh, and you can see there that we were skating a little bit through that corner. We've taken bodywork damage, and
There's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Ricardo ran at the back of me. Yeah, we've definitely lost downforce because we feel a lot floatier through those corners. Now, should we have come in that lap, potentially?
Box. We're coming in this lap.
So we are going to skip ahead to the pit stop, and I can tell you the car is definitely more floaty. Let me know what you think of that incident. The car feels like absolute crap through the infield after Ricardo's hit us. Hopefully the soft tyres will make a bit of a difference. Looks like there's some guys going to hards there as well. But yeah, it was looking okay for points. I'll be honest, I'm not sure we're going to get them now.
Go, go, go.
Let's hope the soft tyres make a big difference.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Oh, and salt into the wound, there goes Leclerc. But to be honest, for the second race in a row, we're going to have Schwartzman on the track in front of us. But yeah, let me know what you think of that incident. I felt to me, oh, you can see again, we just don't have the grip. Where I was complaining before about not quite maybe having the setup right, the car is just floaty through those corners, and to be honest, the soft tyres might just... hopefully it just make that sort of a neutral thing compared for lap times compared to the first stint. Let's see what we can do here. But yeah, that was usually a third gear corner for us. So even on the soft tyres, we have to go down a bit. But yeah, it did feel like I was taking the line I was always planning on taking, and I don't know if it caught Ricardo out or if he caught us a little bit quicker than what he was expecting, and he just, to my eye, just sort of got stuck and ran straight up the back of us. But whatever he's done, he's ruined his race. Robert, remember how I gave you your chance in Formula 1, mate? And, well, he's ruined our race as well because we just don't have the pace anymore. And of course, we're down on horsepower as well. We wouldn't know it by going around the outside of the Alfa Romeo there as Schwartzman comes in.
Gap ahead is 1.5 seconds.
So 1.5 seconds to Leclerc. We're outside of DRS range.
Is 3.4 seconds.
I think that's 3.4 seconds. Was that to the car behind? Yeah, to Alonso behind. And it already looks as though it might be a case of just trying to, just trying to not lose what we have, which is currently 9th spot. I don't know if anybody else has still got to come in. We'll give it our best shot to run down Leclerc, but you can already see we've done a green sector there, but we're not really taking time out of him, and we were relatively comfortably staying ahead of him when we were on the mediums and he was on the soft. So, yeah, just don't have the grip through that corner. It really is a shame. But, yeah, there's no one. Is there anybody ahead of us there that hasn't stopped yet? Doesn't look like it, does it? Because we were 8th and Sainz was ahead of us. So, look at Ricardo all the way down there in, what's that, 14th. So we might have to have words after this one, because what was once, I was looking at P6, well, we're not getting that now. I mean, they're 6 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so even if we manage to get past Leclerc, we're certainly not catching 6 seconds in 6 laps. But we'll go as fast as we can without sticking it in a war. We're just tantalizingly close, aren't we? Just outside that DRS range. And we are going to skip ahead now to the final lap. We were never able to get within DRS. That was essentially as close as we got. The more the tyres wore, the more that the lack of the damage, the lack of downforce sort of caught up with us. You can see Leclerc, 4 seconds he is ahead of us. Alonso was catching. He was never in any real danger of actually overtaking us or getting up to the back of us. He was never really in any danger of getting to DRS, to be honest, before the end of the race. He was just taking tenths of a second out of us more than anything else. But that is a little bit of a race of what could have been, perhaps. But there we go. P9. Well, that didn't really go to plan, did it? 2 points, I suppose.
At the end of the race, we'll see you in Parc Ferme.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Denny Rick! What the hell, man? What the hell? Unbelievable. You of all people, mate. Oh, well, I know you didn't mean to, but who am I kidding? I can't stay mad at you. Let's go get a drink and we'll do Toto Wolff impressions. Well, there we go. It's, to be honest, it probably only cost us about an extra point or 2 points, that damage. I think we would have beaten Leclerc without it. I don't know if he would have beaten Sainz. He was a little ways up the road already. But, yeah, I mean, I'll have to watch back. You guys will have seen it already. I felt like I moved out to block Ricciardo's, the line he was taking, that wider line, and he just kind of ran in the back of me. Now, whether I moved a bit too late, it was always my intention to do it. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of ruined both our races in the end, hasn't it? It's a bit silly between us two Aussies. But anyway, if we look at the standings, Gasly has now overtaken me 2 points clear, which is a little bit annoying, but it's good for the team, I suppose. But you can see there Verstappen and Norris are now right at the top of the championship. And if we go to have a look at the constructors, we are still in third. Mercedes look like they've closed up a little bit, 5 points back, and Ferrari are back a little ways as well from us. So it's looking as though we're in a battle for third in the championship. If I can get my act together, certainly it looks as though Gasly's going to be a very good teammate for us. But not a good round for the rivalry, this one, as Perez will taken a stranglehold. With Monaco up next, I think we can just about concede that rivalry to old Perez there. But I mean, the engine wear was not unexpected. My plan is basically to run it into the ground. With Monaco up next, I figured that's where we'll take penalties. I did want to take penalties here, and it wasn't a super power sensitive track. I think without the damage to the car, I think we would have actually, we would have been fine. But anyway, if you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time over in Monaco as I try desperately not to hit too many walls. Until then, guys, take care.